We are live. Big Papa Beard, aka now's my time to try and pronounce your name. Oh gosh. I'm gonna say it's Jocke Sue So.
Mm, this is, it's hard for me to pronounce it in Swedish because that you can definitely not pronounce it then. But yeah, show like
Show.
show.
Oh, okay, like
Yeah,
SHOW. Like
yeah. But in Swedish it's sjö.
oh Hua.
Yeah,
Really?
sjö.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would have never guessed that actually. I think I was
it's like the part in curb.
er, er,
Yeah, it's just a
so,
sound.
yeah, I think I was over pronouncing the J a little too much. Like Joe. Like
Show.
if I was to pronounce your name in just pure American, like, it would be
Yeah,
Jocke Joe. That would
yeah,
be the way I pronounce it. But um
yeah.
anyways, we were talking, I guess to get things started, we were talking a little bit before the podcast started about someone saying that this was a drinking stream. Um and
Jinx.
yeah, well, it's funny you bring that up because I did have a pretty serious or a pretty long discussion with David Schildhouse, who's an oval streamer on the iRacing platform, who streams on Twitch, and he was saying how, I don't know if you heard of Steel Horse Live. You know who that
Mm,
is? He's an
I've
oval
heard
streamer
it.
as well.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's a big drinker. He shotguns beers all the time. He has a beer counter. So like as the stream
Oh
goes
yeah, I've
on,
seen. Yeah, as
yeah,
soon
yeah,
as I heard beer counter, yeah, I
yep,
am there.
him. That's him. So
Yeah.
apparently they met up together in real life, and David was talking about having a shotgun in front of the shotgun king himself, which is Steel Horse. I mean, he shotguns. He's a monster. The guy goes through like 10 cans a day, shotguns 10 cans a day, on stream, and so that's
Well, I guess that's toxic to some people. I mean,
yeah.
racing and streaming while drinking loads. But
I
yeah.
could never do it. I feel like if I were to drink while racing, I feel like it would definitely mess me up personally. But I think I'd crash. I don't know about you.
uh, I mean, a couple could actually make my driving a bit better.
Yeah, a little like more. I guess you could be more relaxed and
It's
not.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, but then there's a limit as well. So.
Oh yeah, you go over that limit, you're done. You just fall off a
Mm-hmm.
cliff basically and crash. Um,
Yeah.
I guess if you want to say maybe a little bit about yourself, get things started.
Ooh, I haven't got that question since I was in kindergarten, I
Yeah,
think.
what? Yeah, go around the room and everyone stand up, say their name and what they want to do
Yeah.
in life. No, but just I don't know. You stream, was it drift? Like,
Yeah.
get into it.
Well, I am Jocke, as we say in Swedish, aka Big Papa Beard. I am 31, just getting 32 this summer, and I'm from Sweden. Someone asked. I'm from Sweden, and yeah, I've been a petrol head ever since. Yeah, I knew cars or something with engines and motors. So been going through all the stages. I think like did some dirt bike racing, some go kart, and then move on to mopeds, as that's the first thing like you encounter as an half adult. And yeah, then then I moved on to cars as soon as I got the driver's license. So yeah, I've been a bit everywhere and done a bit of everything. Uh, also, I haven't been competing like in motorsports a lot, but I did compete in drifting in the Swedish championship. Everything else I just did for fun or yeah, actually shows. I was doing a lot of shows as well.
Really?
Um, yeah, that came with the drifting though.
So what was it?
When
Would it be like people would hire you to like come drift in front of people?
yeah, both that and also I had a. This may sound very stupid for you guys because I guess you had legend cars. Real, that's an old thing over at your place, I guess. But
Oh,
legend
yeah.
cars actually got introduced in Sweden in about, I think it was 2013, and that was about when the first Swedish drifting championship also occurred. So I actually did some promoting for the legend cars when they got
Oh,
over here.
really? Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I definitely. I know that you were saying when you as soon as you I guess saw something on four wheels, you became was there like a specific moment that was like, "Oh, I really like cars. I like racing." Or
Not as not that I remember. I just like everything with engines and that smells cool and sound cool.
oh, I love the smell of
And
like
also,
tire rubber and stuff.
yeah, also my parents, my grandparents was actually doing rally back in the days, and
Mhm.
also my mom and dad, but that was before me, so I wasn't really affected by that as much as I would want to, I guess. They
Mhm.
kind of quit rallying before I came out,
Yeah, before you
but
came
I,
out.
I
Like a
yeah,
video game.
so
It's like, yeah.
yeah, and yeah, maybe I missed out on the most important part. Sim racing has been in my life since like the Logitech G25,
Oh, yeah.
and even the models, the steering wheels that came out without force feedback. But I don't know what
Oh
name they
god.
had.
I
Yeah,
could not
when
imagine
you
driving.
just have you're young. Have you ever seen a wheel without force feedback?
I mean, I've seen wheels without force feedback that are like on like like toy trucks for like 2-year-olds, or something like that, like that. But I remember,
Yeah.
I was who was it? I was on yeah, it was Matt Malone actually. Matt was saying that his first wheel was this like Xbox wheel, and it didn't even have it was either just full left or full right, but it was a wheel, but the wheel
Oh
would like jolt, so it would be like
well.
even
Oh
full left, full right, or straight. There was no like gradual turn.
well.
So
This was well before Xbox, but yeah, I remember I had a wheel that was like there was no force feedback, but it want to return to the center. It
uh-huh.
was like 360 degrees, and it always wanted come back to the center. So that's like the only feedback you had.
No bumps or anything like that, or fell through the
Nope, nope. But yeah, someone said Microsoft Sidewinder. That might be it.
I
It was
yeah.
actually hard to get a wheel with force feedback back in the days, or back then.
Yeah, I
So
feel
yeah,
like I have it. I feel like a lot of people like I feel like my generation had it so easy, in terms of
yeah,
the
you guys are spoiled.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, man, that's the boomer mentality right there. I see. I growing up, the first wheel that I had, I think, was a Logitech G27. I want to say.
Yeah.
It had like I just remember it had like a red kind of like twisty thing. You could. It's just like I
Oh,
just remember like a red ring on like the bottom right kind of side of it, a red ring that you could twist. To like go to different rotaries or whatever. I just remember I had that for Gran Turismo. I think it was like PlayStation 4 only at the time. Or
oh
no,
yeah,
PlayStation. No, that was just PlayStation 2 or 3, I think, at the time.
yeah.
Um,
But first thing I did when I got like serious with sim racing, that was Live for Speed, I guess, with the G25.
for Speed, I used to play quite a bit of Need for Speed. Um,
Yeah,
I think Need for Speed actually was probably the first video game I ever played. Actually, was
I
one of the
think
Need
it
for
was like the first like first ever game you could call a simulator. Like all the others are more or less arcadey games or games where you can modify your cars, and that was more of the thing of the game. But I think Leap for Speed was the first game with like physics, trying to
Yeah,
be physics at least.
yeah. I think the first sim that I ever played was by Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo
Yeah.
3. I don't know. Did you ever play the Gran Turismos?
Oh yeah, I was definitely a PlayStation guy back in the
Okay,
Gran
nice.
Turismo
Same here.
era.
Yep.
Um, until I waited for I don't know what Gran Turismo it was, uh, but it was a Gran Turismo that was delayed like super much, like years.
I
Was it
think
4, 5, 6?
I
It
think
came a prologue. but
Yeah,
not the full
5.
one.
That was 5, I think. Gran Turismo
Yeah,
5.
that's when I got tired of PlayStation, so I got over to Xbox.
Really,
Sorry, PlayStation.
traitor.
Sorry, Sony, if you're listening.
Traitor. I remember Gran Turismo 5. I remember when I got that. I got like it was like a collector's edition. It came with like it was a box and it had a book on how to drive, like how to hit apexes and stuff. It had a book.
Yeah.
It had like a diecast Nissan GTR. It had like just other stuff in it. I remember I played the crap out of Gran Turismo 5. So
Oh
what? When you
man.
switched to Xbox, what did you just like go to Forza or something?
Yeah,
You went
you
to
got me.
Forza. We got
Yeah.
him, guys.
Well, I gotta say, I was following Gran Turismo from Gran Turismo 1,
Hmm.
and yeah, of course, the dream car was the Toyota Supra, the Castrol one.
Oh yeah,
I'm never gonna, yeah, I'm never gonna forget about that car. That was the dream car.
that
That
was.
and doing like there was an endurance race. I think it was in Gran Turismo 1 or 2, can't remember, but it was a 60-minute race. Yeah, that was
An
the shit back
endurance.
then.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
people were like, "Oh man, 60 minutes."
like it's so
Yeah.
difficult to complete and stuff. Do you remember what track it was?
I do remember how it looks, but I don't think it was a real track.
Oh okay.
Um, but I'm sure someone in chat knows the track. Was it? No, I'm not gonna name drop any. I was thinking, is it Valley? Something Valley?
I think
Or am I thinking about Forza?
was there a track? Is it a track
I
that
think it
kind
was.
of?
I think it was an event in the game, like only on that track that was that long. Maple Valley is Forza. Yeah, that's not the one.
I
Uh,
remember in Gran Turismo, was it the track that where it was like turn one was like a long sweeping right hander?
no, this was like the T1 was a hairpin, I think, a right-hander, and there was also tunnels on the track.
I do, yeah. You
I
follow
need
like
to
along
figure
the
that out.
coast. You follow along, I think a coast, right? Or there's like the it's like ocean or something.
Yeah,
I think off the left of you, and you drive through a tunnel.
yeah, I can't remember really, but it was the race to do
Yeah, I don't know.
back back then, and like 60 minutes was so
It was so
that
long.
was yeah, that was long. I'm gonna figure before this stream ends or this podcast ends. I'm gonna get the name of that track.
I'm
That's
pretty
gonna be my
sure
topic.
there was also to scuba or scuba is what I call it, the one in iRacing. They had that in Gran Turismo, and I remember they had I think a 3 hour event. You remember that? Or maybe that was only in
No,
Gran Turismo 5. You know scuba though, or
yeah.
scuba.
That's my one of my favorite short tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember they had I think it was like a 3 or 6 hour race there,
Oh
and
wow,
I remember,
endurance.
yeah, and that's a proper endurance race. I remember they had 3 hours at Laguna Seca as well, and then
Cool.
the big 24s at Nurburgring and Le Mans. But there were only like 12 cars on the track at one time, and it's like to
Yeah.
do 24 hours with 12 other people. It's just kind of lame. Looking back
Well,
at it now,
this was way before multiplayer. I think
yeah,
this was on PlayStation 1.
I can kind of see the gameplay from your monitor. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
if
I'm
that's
scrolling through Google right here.
yeah.
I'm trying to find a track. I get some layouts here, but yeah, we can proceed, and I'll come back to that when I find it. But yeah, that's that's where I started my career, I guess, in sim racing. Sim racing has always been there.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. And
So
then, well, what made you go into like more of like the drifty sort of stuff? I don't know anything about your experience with like real life racing. So if you want to walk through from the
oh,
beginning.
I don't know where the interest came from, but I think it was like when you grew up. You grew up with racing. You grew up with like dirt, motocross and stuff. But then there was this new thing called drifting, and oh, Grand Valley, that might be it. Thank you, by the way. Sorry
Grand
for
Valley is the
interrupting.
track.
Yeah, it might be that one. But yeah, I don't. I think it was just because uh, you could follow it from the very beginning. Are you also Googling it right now?
I'm Googling it right now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I want to see the overlay. I can tell if it's that track. Yeah, it's that track. It is.
This is the
Grand
one.
Valley Speedway. Yep, Grand Valley Speedway.
Wait, I don't
Thank you.
even remember this circuit. Was
It's
this? Oh, this looks.
it starts with a slow left and then there's like a hairpin right-hander. You got two
Oh,
layouts.
you know, I think I remember this bridge. There was a bridge that you went. Oh, there's your Castrol Subaru
Yeah, that
or
was
Subaru, not
the
Subaru.
car.
Supra.
So yeah, drifting. I think it was seeing that grow and just seeing a new thing. You know, you always get interested in the new stuff.
Yeah.
And then it kind of grew, and yeah, I just decided to start to build a race car. And yeah, at the time we didn't actually have a championship or even a rule book for drifting in Sweden back then. So that actually came. I started to build the car before the rule book came out, and yeah, Sweden was pretty slow with drifting. I think
Really?
you definitely had Formula Drift before that, and also Japan got this D1 series.
Oh, Japan, I
If you're
think it
into,
was definitely like the when it came to drifting, I mean, I'm not I didn't really know much about drifting, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't Japan kind of like the and still are like the I don't know how to
it's where
put it.
drifting comes from.
Yeah.
It's a culture more or less. Like teenagers that got their license, got took their rear wheel driven cars up the mountains and just drifted up and down, back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's more or less a culture that it comes from. But yeah, maybe that's also why I'm very much into import cars. So
That's cool.
it's a
Same here.
mix, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you so you saw that it was kind of like the new big thing. You said you built the car before the regulations was or before like rules and all that sort of stuff. Was there any issues once you built it and then did like the
There
rules
was a
come
lot
out?
of issue.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
through some of those.
yeah, first issue. I had some cars before that, so yeah, I was definitely doing some drifting on like temporary tracks, trying to see what I can do and stuff like that. I can actually show you some pictures of
Yeah,
some
send some
cars I had
pictures.
when you're when you're 18.
Mhm.
Of course, you're gonna have a Volvo if you live in Sweden, for example. You're gonna pimp out some Volvos. But later on, when you kind of yeah get your own income and stuff, you start with yeah like real cars. So I had some my first real car, my importer's car was a Mitsubishi Evo 5. I bet most of you guys
Yeah,
know about
yeah.
the Evos. Uh,
Yeah, we the
and
Evo is a fantastic car.
yeah, it's also very far from drifting.
Hmm.
It's four-wheel drive. But yeah, yeah, I just had the interest for drifting. So once you got a rear-wheel driven car, that's like the first thing you're gonna try out. Even before you got a rear-wheel driven car, when you borrowed your mom's car and took these McDonald's, what do you call it? The things you carry the food on.
Yeah, the trays.
Yeah, took a lot of those and put them under the rear wheels and
Oh,
just
that's
pull the
great.
handbrake.
That is
It
great.
works. It works for about 5 minutes. Then it's gonna melt through.
All through the
So,
trays.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
had to buy new rear tires for my mom because it had flat spot after
Oh
that.
my gosh. You actually did that. You went and got the
Yep,
trays. Oh,
that's the sheep drifting pro tip of the day.
oh my goodness.
Uh, so yeah, then I moved on to rear wheel drive, and I kind of wanted to take that further and build a pro car or pro int car as we called it in Sweden. Um, and yeah, I can't remember how old I was when I started to build the car. I think I was 20 or something. I was kind of
Oh,
fresh from
maybe.
school, and I did not know a lot about cars. I knew like the basic things, how to use tools and how to change oil and filter and stuff, but not like tear a whole car down.
Yeah.
But that's more or less what I did with the car. I bought an S14 that I was using for like daily drive, and the engine got ruined. The SR20, it's a 2-liter 4 inline that is pretty weak, at least if you tune it a bit. And the engine got bad, and yeah, I just had to change the engine or repair the engine, and that's where the whole project started.
Oh,
So instead of changing the engine, I kind of rebuilt the whole car.
I can't
But
imagine.
I got tired of that car a lot of times, or that build, because it was so expensive and time consuming. And I also got tired of myself because I didn't always knew what I was doing. And
yeah, I couldn't
but
imagine.
I made it through, and just in time when the car was kind of finished, we got the first year's championship in Sweden, which was kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool. Like perfect timing, kind of.
Yeah, so I had some cars in between, but this is the car when I parked it in the garage. That's the S14 that the engine got ruined on.
Oh man, those
And
tires.
this is what it came out as 3 years after. It took 3 years. And a lot of motivation and stuff like that went down the drain on the way.
So this is what it is. This your actual car?
That is the same platform.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, yeah. There's your name on it.
And there's also, it changes from every year. You kind of renew yourself. And also the third year I was joining a team.
That's awesome.
So yeah, there's some great stories about that car. But yeah, I got so tired of that car as well during the run. I know Fresh Cap is in chat, and Fresh Cap was with me the whole time. I think the whole build, he know how tired I got of the car. And I was actually putting it out for sale like 2 times during the build.
Unbelievable. That is so cool. How are you able to you have so many sponsors and decals and stuff around the window? Like you're looking through a like a I don't know, like a super small opening in the window.
It's actually a thing in drifting. I don't know. There's a lot of decals in the windshield, but yeah, you can see better from the inside than it actually look.
Yeah, I'm sure. You just kind of tune it out and stuff.
Yeah, and yeah.
That is awesome.
But yeah, that's my first professional thing I did, I guess, the drifting.
Yeah.
And yeah, then came kids.
Came kids.
Yeah,
This had to be put on
life.
this had to be put on the side. I'm sure this had to have costed a ton of money
It
to
did.
build all this car and stuff.
Yeah, it kind of did. Some of the parts you could sell, like the old engine, you could still sell it because it was only the bearings that were down. So it was not a like totally ruined engine, but still, yeah, there's a lot of money. And in Sweden, motorsports isn't really popular, so you can't really get your sponsors and stuff like that to pay. But yeah, you did what you could. Today I don't know how I did it because I still only worked one job and didn't have the best salary, so I don't know how I made it.
Unbelievable though. And you did all this stuff like yourself, right? You said, or for most of it?
Most of the stuff, yeah, kind of welding and stuff like that. Welding the roll cage and stuff. That has to be like from a real welder to fit the rule book. You can't do it yourself, or if you're doing it yourself, it's got to look really good.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So welding, I had other people to do, and I also had a sponsor like fixing the paint job every year, stuff like that, the wrapping. But yeah, the building part was that was all me and another friend real close to me. Tear the car down, and again, I had no experience whatsoever of the car. I kind of learned as I went, and that is still today the only car that I know how to to work with.
That's really cool though that you were able to do this. Cause if I were to say look at my car, which is a front wheel drive car, it's a Honda Fit, which is, or I think the car that I have right now, I think in Europe's called the Honda Jazz.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's yeah, it's a very not appealing car necessarily, but it gets me around.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like, I mean, first off, it's front wheel drive, so I couldn't do it anyways unless I got the McDonald's trays. But even then, if I if I had a rear
You
wheel
gotta
drive
try
car,
that, man.
I know, man.
Yeah.
I'm tempted now. But even if I had a rear wheel drive car, like I have no idea how I could go from just like a stock car to just the drifting monster that you sent. I don't even know where to begin with that. Like
Well, it
engine
took 3 years, so it's not a
overnight.
walk in the park. And
Yeah.
yeah, it really it did wear on me. I definitely got tired of the car
Oh, I can see that
multiple
because like you
times.
spend your whole life basically for the last 3 years just
I
uh
sent you a thing, but I don't know if you can see it actually. But there's the whole build from like scratch,
oh wow, yeah. Let me
and there's a closer look to how it was.
oh
So
wow. The rear wheels
that's
like a
before and
different
after. Yeah, that's the spare wheels that you can actually find in the trunk. But yeah,
Oh, that's a cool
there's a
picture.
there's a lot of stories about that car. But yeah, I ended up selling it. I blew my second engine in one season, just when my first kid came out.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, the economics just didn't work work out good.
Wasn't working
So
out as well.
yeah, I didn't need just to sell the car, but I got a good offer for it, and I really, yeah, I was hope today. I wish I had a car. Still, I could have put it in a barn and just took it out when or take it out when I got time.
Oh
But I
yeah.
didn't really think that rational back then. And also, when you scroll through the pictures there, you can see where my signature color comes from, orange.
Oh
Kind
yeah.
of kind of worked with that the whole time.
Definitely. Oh wow, that's a cool picture. Or, like, oh, that's
Yeah, the
cool.
defenders.
Yeah. I can see so I assume this is the welder that you said you had to
That's actually me.
That's you?
Sorry. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
This is before the
Yeah.
beard.
There was a time where I have no beard. It's
What in the world? I can't believe it. That doesn't even look that looks like a whole different person.
yeah, that's not the welder. I'm sorry.
I thought that was the welder, man. Like
That's just
a
a dude in the garage.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool though, the whole process you documented.
Yeah, it's
Oh
cool, but
yeah.
it's always like every from year to year, it's always updates on the car and stuff like that. But this is the ground build up base, so to say.
Yeah, yeah. That is cool. Oh yeah, the
And
seat.
that's the project of my life, I guess. I'm never gonna do that one of those things again, and yeah, I'm super proud of it.
There's
I just wish I had it still.
did you have were there any like scary moments or like where you accidentally like drifted into something or whatever? Or
I mean, drifting is all about close combat or
yeah, yeah, I know what you
yeah,
mean.
being close to each other, proximity.
Uh-huh.
Um, so touching other cars was not really. It was a pretty common thing, but yeah, there's also walls you should go close to, and I never had like a really scary experience myself, but I had friends actually going off track and roll over and stuff like that, but
Oh gosh.
nothing. I mean, drifting is a pretty fast sport. You go pretty fast, even though people think it's not as fast as racing, as you're not going straight,
Hmm.
but also going off track when you're skidding kind of grabs the wheels and going to make you flip even faster. So it is more dangerous that way, I think.
Definitely, I can see that. Sure. Oh,
But
that's cool.
today, I'm going to say that I think motorsports is pretty safe today.
Oh, definitely. I think it's definitely like a been a a crazy leap in just safety and just all motorsports in general. Like
Yeah.
it's awesome to see that sort of. That's cool that you drifted because I are there any like I know Assetto Corsa I think has like a pretty big drift community in the sim.
Yeah.
Did you ever get
I'm actually
involved
doing
with those?
some. Oh yeah, I'm trying to do some drifting in a set of course as well every now and then. It's kind of more a thing I do to relax or chill out,
Mhm.
just go drift. That's why I also have this handbrake, if you can see it,
Oh yeah,
kind of drift stylish,
that's
long
cool.
handbrake.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so that's what I do when I'm relaxing and not doing racing.
yeah, it's the drift and stuff.
Funny thing, yeah, funny thing is though, when I was doing drifting, I had no interest in racing at all, and today it's like the other way around.
Really?
I would, yeah. So that's kind of, I don't know where that comes from.
Oh, that is interesting. I so completely 180'd. Were you? Did it start like your interest? You said you were really big into cars. Did it start with just like an interest in cars and then it turned into an interest in drifting and then an interest into racing, or was it ever like racing, drifting, racing?
I think it was back in Leave for Speed. I think it was racing
Huh.
until we discovered drifting, because then actually Leave for Speed got pretty decent physics when it comes to tires.
Huh.
So it was definitely driftable, and there was also a lot of mods, I remember.
Huh.
But yeah, it was drifting all out from the very beginning.
All
Then
out.
yeah, and then I don't know where the racing came from at
Gotcha.
all.
Oh, that's cool
I
though.
was we were visiting some local racing tracks when I was a kid, but yeah, nothing ever happened. I do ever remember. I do remember being to a race once, and like as a kid, you're just standing there and looking at, is someone gonna flip their car? Is there gonna be a crash?
That's a
And there was no crash until the race was over, and I turned away. First thing I heard was a car crashing. So there was a car flipping after finish line. And
yeah.
that's where, yeah, maybe that's where I dropped the interest of racing. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's cool. I remember, yeah, being young, it's the crashes was all I cared about, It's like cuz I didn't know
Yeah.
anything else. It's just like crashes, man. I just want to see destruction. I want to see cars like in a million pieces
Yeah.
and
How
like
depressing is that?
I know, man. It's sad thinking back now cuz it's like, man, I was basically hoping people got injured. It seemed like what like
Yeah.
my mind was back then, It's like the more destroyed the car, the more excited I was, and it's just like god,
Yeah. The
morbid.
cooler it is, more flames
Oh yeah,
and
explosions.
crushed cars.
If a
Yeah.
car blew
That's
up,
kind
I
of.
mean that was the highlight of my week,
Oh yeah. You didn't think about there was an actual person in the car, but if you see some fire, that would be exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that was kind of how it was for me too. But
Yeah.
when did you get into iRacing then?
I'm just gonna open one of these.
Yeah, no worries.
iRacing. I've been. Ooh, I don't know really. I always knew that iRacing was there, but I kind of was the friend you have that was too cheap. He didn't want to spend all the money on iRacing,
Oh,
so I kind of dragged my ass
oh,
over to iRacing at a point where I was tired of all the free to play games.
oh.
Um, so first of all, I started to stream about 2 years ago, and first thing I had like on my channel was kind of wanted to show people that there was good sims out there that you didn't have to pay for monthly.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, look where that ended up.
Yeah, I know, right? The complete
I was
opposite
doing a
now.
lot of Yeah, I was doing a lot of Project Cars 2, and I was definitely defending Project Cars 2 for a long time. But I think they pronounced or announced that they're not gonna like update Project Cars 2 anymore because they're gonna focus on the next game.
Hmm.
And I just dropped the interest of Project Cars and said, "What the fuck? I'll try iRacing."
Hmm.
I know I got like a days trial from FreshCap
Hmm.
actually. Um, but I didn't really get hooked first time. it was like a year after that. And yeah, I definitely knew about iRacing. Was watching a lot of streamers doing iRacing. I
Mhm.
just didn't go there myself. So actually, I've been in iRacing for just about a year now. I think
Okay.
I started early February last year.
Okay. Wow, that's
So
crazy.
it's pretty new to me. Pretty new to me. But
Yeah.
yeah, once I got into iRacing, I spend a lot of dollars in there, and I
Oh
like it.
man. I don't like to think about the money that I spent on iRacing, you know? Like I don't like to think about that. It's a
Yeah, it
lot.
was definitely expensive in the very beginning because I didn't know where to go. Like, do I want to do only GT cars? Do I want to go rallycross? Do I want to do NASCAR?
Yeah.
If you know that before you start iRacing, it's gonna be better for your wallet. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, if
Yeah,
that's kind of the issue with me. Like, I was kind of in the same boat. You know, I heard of iRacing, and I was looking at iRacing, and I thought iRacing looked like the coolest thing ever, but it just was too intimidating for me. The whole I was just scared to race real
yeah,
people and to race people who took it very seriously because I was scared I was gonna mess up and
yeah. That also, like everyone else's commitment, you thought that was gonna be more than you'll ever have yourself.
exactly.
So yeah, that was also a part. Like you're scared of blending in with the big boys, so to
Yep.
say.
That's how it was. I think that's an issue that a lot of people have. You know that fear
Yeah,
of not just scared to race with real people and scared to mess up someone else's race and stuff like that. That's a real
yeah.
fear, and that's what I had.
But if we got any new people in iRacing or people actually looking into getting into iRacing, the system works pretty well. Even if you're new, you're gonna end up with new people. So that's kind of yeah, it's really the system works really good, and that's also a thing that I got really impressed with. First thing I noticed in iRacing after just a couple of races, like how the iRating system works and how it kind of puts you in the same splits as people with the same experience as you have.
Oh yeah,
So it definitely
definitely.
works good.
Yeah.
Coming from Project Cars 2, everything looks good.
I think yeah, I was kind of it's kind of funny because I feel like we kind of had the same uh path to a certain extent when it came to games because I'm also rather new to iRacing in the grand scheme of it. I think you're actually probably the first person I've met who's like a content creator as well who's actually been in iRacing for less time than I have because I've only been in
Oh,
since November of 2018. So
oh, okay.
not much longer than you. You know, only two like
Yeah.
3 4 months, something like that. But um, before that, I was doing Sims. Uh, but it was also Project Cars 2 or Automobilista, I think, or I wonder if chat can help me out. But I feel like Riza Studios they had two games. They had Automobilista, and then they had this like stock car. Uh, it was like the same game I remember or same sim. It was like Stock Car Extreme or something like that. It sounds like a arcade, but it was actually also a sim, and
Yeah.
I played both those a lot. And then finally decided I was like, screw it, I'm getting iRacing. I'm just gonna do it. You know, if I take people out, like move out of the way next time. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my
I can't
mind.
remember what my like breaking point was, but I as I said, when I started stream, I was kind of defending not to go to iRacing. I kind of wanted to show people that there is good sims out there that you don't have to pay for.
Mm.
But yeah, it didn't end up very good. I was trying Race Room and Project Cars in the Assetto Corsa a lot. Never done R Factor actually, but yeah, I kind of wanted to show people that there's still good sims out there. But I came to a point where I wanted to have a more competitive side. So as iRacing have it's like your own license. That's kind of what I was looking for. I kind of got more competitive, I think.
Yeah.
Just I wanted to compare myself as well. I mean, in Project Cars there is a rating system, but it doesn't really work. And yeah,
Yeah,
It's also free to play, so there's going to be a lot of kids around
exactly.
in
And people who
P1.
just completely just don't even break and smash into everybody. I
Yeah,
agree. That's what I love
so
about
much time
iRacing.
wasted. I actually started my account, uh, yeah, just January 2019, but I didn't drive for the first time until like late January for early February.
Really.
Again, because I was scared. Yeah,
Yeah, it's real.
I did some.
The scary.
Yeah, it was so serious.
Absolutely. You know, and
You know.
I love the competitive aspect of it. Like,
Yeah.
you might be able to touch more on that because that's why you wanted to get into it. But I love it. I like it like that.
So do I, and that's also why I'm still here.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, I think it works very good. People do think that it doesn't work very good every now and then, but yeah, I think it's a well tried out system, and I think it definitely works out good.
Absolutely. And I think that I'm in the same boat when it comes to competitive things. You know, I love competitive, just games in general, and I like. For me, what I like about iRacing is I feel like there's no limit to how good you can be. Like you can always improve, and that makes the
Yeah,
playability I feel so much bigger because you can't see the ceiling of like the max you can be. You know, like it just is a never ending level of skill,
yeah,
and that just keeps me wanting to
exactly.
play. Like just to
The
constantly get better.
the roof, there's no roof, but there's a limit in you, I
Yeah.
guess. When you reach a new split, for example, if you're doing IMSA a lot and then you like gain a lot of I rating, and all of a sudden you come up to a higher split,
Oh,
that's that's gonna
the
throw you back a
wake
bit.
up
But
call.
yeah, but it's not only like some people think that they got too much I rating sometimes and they focus too much on the I rating.
Mhm.
But I think I first of all I had a I don't know what to say. I couldn't get better than 2.5, I think. It
You're
was
like a
like
wall.
walking into, yeah. Even though I got kind of scared there as well. I mean, I was with new people. People were super fast.
Mm.
So I got back. Like I lost a lot of I rating when I was up touching that wall.
Mhm.
But then also I kind of felt like, man, I'm not doing my best when I get up there. It's in my head.
Yeah.
I'm too afraid. I get scared.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's also you can learn from like, yeah, if you think it's impossible and if you think it's harder, you can actually learn from it as well and make good use of it.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I think that for me, you were mentioning about getting put into a new split, and that to me is just the big wake up calls, you know, because I'll be in like say second split, you know, I'll be getting top fives or whatever, you know, top threes, you know, I'll feel on top of the world, you know, I feel like the next like
Yeah,
Max Benecke, you know, I'm just like, you know, I'm getting all this stuff or whatever. Move up into top split and you qualify like second from last. But you know, the same time that you were able to get like a pole position in second split, and you just realize like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, man, like there's so much work to be done
yeah.
to get better.
When you're like in Discord with a couple of friends and you're doing quali at the same time in different splits,
Yeah.
and you compare the lap times, and
Oh
you tell
yeah.
your lap time, and that's gonna be like P1 in their splits.
Yeah, exactly.
And their time is going to be like 23 in your split or something, but it's still a good
Exactly.
time. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
depressing, but you can also learn from it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that that's the best way that I mean, it's the only way for iRacing to really work, you know, put the drivers who are on the same skill level together and
Yeah,
it makes the competition. I've never understood and I've never understood people there's some people who have like devalued like wins based off of what split you're in. For instance, like, oh, you won Le Mans, oh well you were in like a bottom split, you know, stuff like that. Um because you know you're racing against people who are the same level as you, so it's all relative, you know. It's like whether it's top split
yeah,
or bottom split, if you're racing against the people who are around your skill level, a win is just as impressive, you know. So
yeah,
that's the way I view it. Doesn't
yeah.
really
We
matter.
actually talking about that. the system works very good. We had this 12-hour race this weekend, yesterday.
Yeah, Suzuka, right?
Yeah, and we ended up in a really low split because most of the people in the team was not really super high with iRating.
Mm-hmm.
But the leaders, they got 6K drivers, 6K plus drivers. So yeah, I kind of don't like that system, how that
No,
works with the registering. But yeah, that could be discussable, I guess.
I agree. You know, I think that it's just ridiculous. I've seen so many splits where, like you're saying, you get into a split that maybe has like an average strength of field of maybe 2K, and then you'll have a team
Yeah.
that has like two 6K drivers and then one, 2K driver or whatever, and they just sign up the 2K guy, and then they have these 6K guys just basically curb stomp everybody else. It's just like, it's really not fair.
Yeah.
It,
I don't really know how to I mean, I don't have a good idea of how to do it instead, but yeah, I bet there's some smart people out there figuring that
Yeah,
out.
I mean, I think something that would be very strict, but I could see happen is like, listen, you want to sign up for these endurances? You got to have all your guys like sign up. If they don't make the sign up, they can't join after. Like you have to be
Yeah.
there at least at the sign up to press sign up. If you don't make it to the sign up, you don't get to race. And you can still leave the session and withdraw and stuff and then come back, but you
Yeah.
have to be there for like the initial registration. I think that would be
I
the
do
best
see a
solution.
problem with that, and that is like if some of the drivers that are registered are running into technical problems, like the PCs getting weird
Oh
or
yeah,
internet connection is losing or disappearing or
that's
stuff like
true.
that, that they can't take an extra driver in.
That's
But
true.
someone was talking about yesterday about like if the guy that was registering also had to do the quali and the first stint, for example. Because in this case that we had, the guy that was registering, he wasn't even in the race. He just registered the team, and no of the drivers was in the practice session when the race session started. So
It's so messed up.
technically, the car was registered for the race when iRacing fixed all the splits
hmm
or calculated all the splits. So the car was registered, but no driver.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. That's a mess, but I think it's an
you,
issue. It ruins endurance
yeah,
racing to an extent. Like every race,
it does. Yeah.
you just always have that one team that just completely sandbagged and is so much quicker than everybody else who's just in P1 the entire race. It's just not fun.
Oh yeah,
Um,
they were leading the whole race,
yeah,
and they didn't actually have any competition. Like no one was as fast as they were, of course.
yeah. I don't know. I mean it. I've always said, in endurance racing, like it's less about speed and more about consistency. But at the same
It
time,
is.
having though like a team full of extremely experienced people against like a bunch of like 2K drivers who maybe drive like once or twice a week versus them driving like
Yeah,
5 hours a day. It's just like not really that fair. And I think that that is a hard issue to tackle based off of how iRacing works. But I think it would be something that would be very, very good if they could just figure out something, some sort of solution
yeah,
to that.
and also the like, I've been thinking about that thing that you said. Like they could cut the register thing, but also if something happens, of course maybe you need to take in another driver that wasn't supposed to do the race from the very start. So they will need that option, I think.
Yeah. What if
But I guess there's some smart people with salary thinking about this somewhere. I just hope that.
I have an idea?
Email iRacing.com.
What if when you sign up for a session, you have to type in and add the profile of each of the people who you're doing the race with? You know how like when you add someone to the friends list, you type their name out and then you like kind of click their profile or whatever, or
Yeah.
like you do that.
Selected drivers.
So,
Yeah.
so you basically gotta yeah, or just have like a team drop down where it has the team. Like you sign up for the session, you click the team, and then you check which drivers are racing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Exactly.
from there, they don't have to be there for sign up, but then iRacing will then see their IRs and then just average it by itself then. And if they don't check the names, they don't get to drive. But someone surely could check the names. That way you couldn't have someone sign up just themselves and not check the other guys' names. And
Yeah.
then I don't know. I think that actually isn't a bad idea,
It's
but
it's not a bad idea until the whole country that they live in is going into quarantine and cuts the internet
I
and no one can
mean,
drive the car.
well, if no one can drive the car, then like they probably won't. They can't sign up even to begin with. But
But yeah, there's definitely workarounds about the situation we had. So I mean, just the thing that there was no driver in the car when the session started, it's
hmm,
kind of sketchy. I mean, of course, even if you're not having the first stint, aren't you interested in being there?
yeah, of course, like the beginning.
Someone should be waiting. Yeah, someone should be in the practice session waiting and not wait out the race session to start until they join, I think. So I
Yeah,
think that it might have been something they said just to make it look better. I don't know. I'm not gonna throw shit at them, but
no,
yeah,
definitely
they
not.
they
But
did
it's
get some hate at the end of the race.
yeah, I don't blame
I
them. It
heard.
happened to us in the 24. Like you had like two 5K drivers or like three 5K drivers just absolutely stomping on everybody else. It's just
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know. I've never or people. I mean, I'm not gonna throw names out there either, but like there are some people who have like lowered their I rating just to get in. Like they want to join a league, and there's like different classes. There's the AM class and the pro class, and they'll drop their IR so that they can get into like
oh
the AM class when they're actually like 5K, 6K IR. They'll drop it to like 2K, get into the AM class because when they register for this league, the people add them to AM because it's below 2K, and then they just
yeah,
absolutely stomp on everybody. It's like just like why don't you drive with people like like your own size? Like race with
yeah,
people who actually can challenge you, not just stomp people who are
yeah.
definitely
I
worse.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I like when I started to do endurance races. You kind of roll with the guys that are more experienced than you are,
Hmm.
and I've been in a race where that happened, but also we kind of figured out that this is no fun. Even I mean, even if they register, so some person with higher I rating can come after or register for the race after. We kind of felt like this is not fun. We're too fast.
Hmm.
We want to have competition as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not all about looking good on paper, like results wise.
Yeah. I think everyone
You
wants the
also want to have a
competition,
race. Yeah,
and I've done
that's
that
why we're
too.
all here.
Like I mean, I've done that too. Like for endurances, we have signed up our lowest IR driver for races. We've done the same
Yeah,
thing. It's just I feel like not to defend at least my case. I don't know about yours, but in my case, you know, our best driver was only maybe like 1,000 IR better. It wasn't like a 8K driver, 6K driver signing up for
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it wasn't that crazy, but yeah, I mean, I guess I'm no saint either, to be fair. So I really can't, I can't,
No,
I
but
can't
yeah,
throw shade at these people.
in my case, the majority of the team actually had like just below 2K,
Hmm.
and I was the guy with the more I rating. So I bet the average was kind of low, but yeah, I stood out a bit with my I rating.
Yeah,
But
it's
but yeah,
just it's not, yeah, and like I mean, it's great like to of course be ahead and stuff, but it's not really that fun if you don't have any battles or anything like that, or any
yeah, exactly.
like nerve
Yeah,
wracking moments or like people closing you down or stuff. It's just not as fun. So yeah, like
exactly.
for me, I'm trying to. We're gonna be at least for Big Bone Racing, which is like the team that I run. We are gonna be signing up with our highest I rating driver actually,
Yeah, okay.
to be in the highest split we possibly can, and just kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that is,
I
and
mean, I think you should definitely register with at least all the drivers. There's no
Yeah.
point in like trying to take out the guy with the lowest one, because it's not going to be fun. If you're really competitive, it's not going to be fun registering with the lowest IR driver.
Well, you're gonna be Lewis
That's kind of,
Hamilton, pretty much running away with
yeah,
like a.
kind of, that's what we figured out. We would definitely want in before the race it felt like a good thing, but after the race we definitely said that next time let's be in a higher split. Let's not mess around with the system.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, we learned the hard way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, from what I've seen, you are really like strategic when it comes to racing. Like I like your when you're doing tactical stuff, like when someone's faster, you don't block and stuff like that. Just figure out the race before it actually happens.
I try
That's
to.
that's that's what I enjoy by watching you.
Oh, thanks, man.
So that's got to be real handy in especially endurance races.
Yeah, I like to think that I'm a pretty clean driver, and I think that I might not be the quickest, but I try to have pretty good racecraft in the form of, like battling and stuff. I try to leave room and make it as fair as possible. Um,
Yep,
but
that makes two of us.
yeah, no, I noticed that you're also kind of share the same
I'm
similarities
trying,
in that sense.
yeah, I'm trying to see the difference between being aggressive and also being stupid. It's a fine
Same,
line though.
same. I am
There's
in the same
situations,
boat.
yeah,
Like it's
but
crazy.
there's also it also happens every now and then. You think it's a good idea before, but it actually turns out not to be a very good idea. So, but that's
Definitely.
also racing mistakes.
Yeah, I know that I've been trying to find that fine line as well lately. I mean, I'm just gonna be completely blunt. I think I've been taking out more people lately than I ever have. And punting people. It's just the truth, and I think that it's because I've thought to myself like, I need to learn to
Step
be more
down.
aggressive with driving, but I think what I've
Yeah.
done now is I'm doing the wrong kind of aggressive driving, and I'm learning kind of that limit. Like I think I was too calm before, a little too passive. I think now I might be a little too aggressive, so I need to just now dumb it down and try and find like a good
Yeah,
middle
yeah.
ground. That makes sense. And
I think that's also what happened when you start to think that, or you start to see that you're going up in splits. Like you gain a lot of I rating, and all of a sudden you end up with faster people, and that's where you think that, oh yeah, I'm with faster people now. I'm gonna give it even more. But it's also very, you can't give it more in one race. You need to experience the other drivers and also how fast they are before you actually know how to act yourself or how to be faster yourself, I think.
yeah, and I think that a lot of things on how to get quick in iRacing is a lot of the things that I've at least found from my experience is like almost seems so counterintuitive. And I think that that might be why it's difficult for certain people to increase their pace, is because some of the things that I've found that do help your pace are things that seem completely opposite to what seems logical. Like I've noticed that I drive my quickest when I actually in my mind think I'm driving the slowest. It's really weird, and I think it's just because being really smooth, slow in, fast out, like smooth on the wheel and stuff. For me, it seems way slower than like mashing the brake and like doing
Yeah.
just like turning really sharp, and like that feels way quicker to me in my mind. But in reality, like it's not smooth, it's not stable, and it's just not quick.
Yeah.
You know?
And it also, I don't know about you, but you're doing mostly GT cars, right?
Yeah, GT is like pretty much all I do.
Yeah. I kind of do everything. I go from F3 to GT3, GTE, LMP1 now recently,
Uh-huh.
and some cars don't like that. Some cars do like attacking, like as you're saying, here's slamming the brakes real hard, real fast, and then get off the brake real fast and just throw yourself on the throttle.
Hmm.
But not every car likes that, and I think in GT3 you can compare like the R8 with the AMG. That's a huge difference.
That's true.
Like the R8 loves to like slam the brakes early and slam the throttle earlier than the AMG, and the AMG is like more smooth. It likes trail braking better and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
it's also depending on what kind of car you're driving
that's
and
true.
what kind of car you're used to.
Definitely. I know for sure for me I like more aggressive. Like I really like the well, I used to really like the Ferrari GTE. That was like my GTE, but that was before the new tire model. Now I'm like all about the Porsche. Just
Yeah,
because I feel like it's a very aggressive car. I just my driving style is much more aggressive in the sense of how you actually
yeah,
use the inputs. Like Audi, like you were saying, Audi R8. That's my go-to GT3. That's my favorite car in iRacing.
yeah,
Porsche, stuff like that. But I know it's different for different people and how they like to drive.
yeah. A good thing you said it. It's also very important, like that it suits your driving style. Also, the RSR suits my driving style, but I do like the M8 as well because
Hmm.
I can save like a tricky situation. I can save it better with the M8 than the RSR, but I'm definitely quick with the Porsche.
Hmm. Yeah, I think with the new
And
tire
not,
models, awesome. But go
yeah,
on.
talking about LMP1,
Uh-huh.
that is tricky because then you're gonna have to drag your brakes to gain battery power or a boost. So that's definitely a total different driving style. There's something
Oh,
that is the first car I really need. I really try to get my head around that car. That's the only car I really practice with. Um, but yeah,
it's
it's also a lot of fun.
it's tricky. The LMPs, they're just a whole nother animal. It's just
Yeah,
crazy. I don't even know. Like, I feel like my driving lines are fine. I feel like I brake where I should, accelerate where I should. Like I take the right lines, the right corner speed, and then I look and I'm still like 5 seconds off the pace, and it's all just because of the
yeah,
boosting. Like the boost
yeah.
management is so important, and I'm terrible at it.
That's what I actually bought the car. Like I bought the R18 after watching a documentary on Amazon
Uh-huh.
like 6 months ago,
Uh-huh.
and I jumped into an ILMS and thinking, how hard can it be? I mean, it's just a car.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know the track. It was I do remember it was Nürburgring GP,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, fuck it, I know this track real good. It's one of my favorite tracks. How hard can it be?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like four or 5 seconds off like every lap, and I was using my boost, but I didn't use it as I should on the right places.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's all about where to use it, and like yeah, really really tactical,
It
and
is.
also the traffic, of course.
Mm.
Uh, you get a whole new perspective. If you're in the GTEs, it's hard to say, or it's easy to say fucking LMP1 drivers, but it's you
That's
really get
true. I've said
a
that
better
many times.
perspective. Yeah, you get a better perspective when you're actually in the LMP1.
It's funny you bring that up.
But yeah, I think LMP1 drags out the bad part about every driver because LMP1 drivers, I say this as an LMP1 driver, they are the worst people. They are the ones thinking they might fix this overtake in the middle of the kink on Road America, for example. That's they're taking more risks than they
They
should, I
should.
guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have my the overlay that I use on my stream is the Race Lab apps one. Kind of like caps, but they have like a new feature now where it's like custom flags. So like
Oh
races,
yeah.
I don't know. Do you use caps, right?
I use caps. I do know Istvan a lot, so I'm waiting for Race Labs overlay to hit a certain point. Then I'm
Gonna
gonna
switch
try
over
to use
maybe.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a feature where they have like the flags. So I don't use the iRacing flags because now this overlay will show like blue flag or whatever. But you can customize what you put in for the
Yeah.
overlay. So like whenever the blue flag comes up,
Oh,
it
the
says
LM.
dive bomb
Yeah.
incoming. Just
Makes
so I'm
sense.
aware.
So yeah, like when you are reaching the point where you need to or you want to do LMP1, you as a consistent driver, Jack, I'm talking to you.
Okay.
You will win a lot just by being consistent and actually think safe, because the other LMP drivers definitely won't. So that's definitely how I got my first LMP1 races. I remember it was at Monza. It wasn't. Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think Monza was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
started my LMP career after 6 months ago. Then when I bought it, because I actually put that car away. I got
Put it in
scared of it
storage,
when I
yeah. Collected
yeah
some dust.
yeah. But then I'm really trying to get into that car, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. But also there's a lot of stupid drivers in the
Oh
LMP
my
ones.
gosh. And I mean, I feel like people think that I throw shade at all LMP drivers. It's more of just the drivers who don't even know like basic just fundamentals of driving. Like I mean, it should be common sense. Like if you're going into a corner and you see a GT in front of you, if you're a certain distance back, you should just know to just
Yeah.
wait until the corner's over. But like some of these guys
People
just can't process that.
No, people think that oh, this GT is gonna get the blue flag. He's gonna leave me space. But yeah, that's not really the sporting code.
Oh, and
That's
especially when the LMPs are so like I totally get it. If it's like GTE and GT3, I understand the argument. Like, man, the GT3 should just moved over because
yeah,
even though they don't need to, the cars are much closer pace wise. But like as a GTE driver, like I'm not gonna do anything if an LMP is closing in. I'm just gonna run my race because they are so much quicker and have so much
yeah,
more downforce that it's like there's no excuse for them not to find a way around me. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. But there's also like most of the crashes I see in LMP1 of the other drivers, of course, because I'm not doing any crashes. Uh,
Kappas.
Most of the incidents is overtaking. Like people think that the car LMP1 drivers think that the cars in front is gonna leave them space just because of the flag, and they also think that they're faster than they are. In the LMP1, being behind a group of HPDs, for example, you are not very fast. You're not a lot faster than the HPDs unless you're in a boosting zone.
That's true. Yeah.
So you're definitely gonna. It's also a strategy being like behind the HPDs in the boosting zone. Maybe it's not even worth to use the boost because you're not going to get around them anyways. So it's also about you need to know how fast the car is. You don't need to think. You shall not think that the car is the fastest.
That's a
It
good
is
point.
not always the fast. Yeah. So you need to know the car before you actually throw yourself into the kink side by side with the HPD.
Well, and I think as well, I was kind of discussing this with Stream, but I think it's kind of like a snowballing issue in the sense of when an LMP driver say is behind a GTE driver or a LMP2 driver, they think in their mind like I need to dive bomb this guy because everybody else is like if that like that's the quickest. But like if
Yeah.
they thought in there if everyone just was patient and waited behind until a clear moment to pass and everybody did it, then like people wouldn't I feel like feel the need to dive bomb because they know that they're not losing that much time waiting,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And I think that I don't
That
know, that's a
also
theory.
includes like that's also including like your own class. Even if you're going GTE versus another GTE, going side by side on the first 5 laps, that's also very time consuming. You're going to lose a lot of time by that.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I've
And
noticed recently that like when it comes to kind of what you're saying with the first 5 laps, I used to be so passive that I didn't want to pass anybody really on the first lap because I thought to myself, there's a lot of racing left. But now
yeah,
I'm more to the point where it's like I will go for moves if I definitely know I'm faster because I know that I just cannot afford to get held up.
yeah.
Uh,
And also,
yeah.
yeah, also to defend the LMP1 drivers a bit, tiny bit, when you get into the cars, the LMP ones, it feels like your balls are growing just a bit. It feels like you are such a man going into the LMP
Oh
one.
yeah, man. You
'Cause
feel like
it
you're the
is a
man.
really manly car,
Oh,
but yeah, you're
absolutely.
you need to adapt your driving style.
Definitely. And what's so weird, I don't know if you can relate, but I feel like when I'm driving the LMP1, the car feels so big. It feels way bigger than like GT cars. But it's so much
Yeah,
smaller. It's really weird.
which one are you using? Porsche
I use the
or Audi?
Porsche.
Yeah. First thing I noticed trying the Porsche was the canoes. You can't see nothing. There's two
Oh,
canoes in the way.
yeah, the side pods on the side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can't see
the
nothing.
canoes. Yeah,
That's
it's
actually why I
difficult.
bought the Audi.
I actually might want to give the Audi another spin because I know at Le Mans we're taking the LMP for Le Mans this year, and I was just doing some very early preliminary laps with the with the Monza setup from a few weeks ago, but I was racing there
Yeah.
and I noticed going through the Ford chicanes, like the final corner on the track, that really sharp, left to right hander before the start finish line. Like I couldn't see the corner. I mean, I have triple monitors and
Oh yeah.
stuff, but
Yeah.
like you just have to guess where to turn in. It's like that is concerning to me.
Yeah, and it's also speed is also a thing in the LMP1. It doesn't feel like you're going 320 kilometers an hour
kph,
or
yeah,
how.
like
Yeah,
330, even 340, I think sometimes or
yeah.
something.
So I think on every race or practice I do on a new track, I always miss the pit entrance. I always get a black flag
Yeah.
because it feels like I'm going like 70 kilometers,
Oh, I know exactly what you
but
mean.
I'm actually doing like 140. So
Yep.
it is really hard to appreciate how fast you're actually going in the LMP1. I don't know why that is.
I think that iRacing just, my opinion, I don't really think iRacing does a good job with like a sense of speed. Like feeling how quick you're actually going. I don't think they do that great of a job
Yeah,
at feeling the
in
speed.
the LMP, you can't appreciate the speed unless you have another car in front of you, like a
Yeah.
GT or HPT.
Yeah, that's
That's
when you
when you're gonna see
realize.
how freaking fast you are. But other than that, no, you're gonna be blind. You can't see at all how fast it is. You
Yeah.
see that the steering wheel is saying like, yeah, 300 plus, but yeah, it's just like a Sunday drive.
Especially going down like the back straight at Le Mans. It feels
Oh
like you're
yeah.
just driving on the highway. Like it feels no different than just driving on the highway until you pass like a Ferrari like GTE who's also going flat out and you pass them as if they're standing still. That's when it's just like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah, I
crazy
can't
the
wait for Le
sense.
Mans, man. Can't wait.
Oh, dude, me neither. I'm super excited. I think it's beginning of June. But it's gonna be sick.
Yeah,
My favorite endurance race
yeah,
of the year by far.
yeah. Same here.
Yeah,
Totally.
it's gonna be sick. Do you have already like the group of guys you're racing with?
I don't know. No, I'm in two teams that are pretty active right now when it comes to endurance races, and yeah, I haven't talked to any of them about the 24 hours. We're doing 24 hours this upcoming weekend in Nürburgring, but yeah, I also have this team that I'm doing the major series with, Majors League.
Oh yeah, I think we raced in the majors together, right? The 24 hours of Le Mans last year
We
or
might have done it.
December.
Yeah,
Did you do the
yeah,
24 hours of Le Mans in December?
yes. I
Yeah,
think that was my first endurance experience.
we were in the. I feel like were you in LMP
HPD.
too? Yes. Yep. We raced
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
Definitely, I remember that.
And I think no, in December. Oh yeah, that
Or like it was like late November, early December, something like.
was that majors or was it the official?
It was majors.
Oh yeah,
I
in
remember that.
majors, we did actually finish P2 8 seconds after the leader,
Really.
which
Oh,
is kind of close.
after 24 hours, man, that's really
After
close.
24, yeah, in the broadcast they actually showed our fight pretty much because we were gaining on. I was in the last stints driving, and we were gaining like 10 seconds the last couple of laps,
Mm.
and we pushed that car to the edge for sure. So we got like, yeah, they said it was the best fight, or at least try to fight, of the race, and it was a really tough race.
That's
We
awesome.
A couple of more laps and we would have got that guy.
That's
But yeah, it was a
awesome.
fun race, and that's also why I'm doing the major series this season, because by finishing P2, we actually won like gold tickets. I think it's gold pass or gold tickets
Huh.
for this season. So that's why I'm doing it,
Okay, cool.
because we
Yeah.
we we won this season's gold pass.
Yeah, that Lamar was awesome. I don't remember much. I just remember we were in the Ferrari and we also finished P2, but
Yeah.
I don't remember more than that. You passed us multiple times. I definitely remember lap
Oh yeah.
guys flying by, but I don't really remember. A lot of endurance races now for me have just I blended in. I've done
Ooh.
so many now.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm
hard
still
to
so
remember.
new to endurance races. So I only done two 24-hour races and one 12-hour race.
It's what it was the other 24 that you did.
And that was the official before that. Yeah.
Were you in the
that one
GTE?
was so much fun. I did HPD back then as well.
Okay.
And majors compared to official, I think official is so much fun.
I agree.
There's so much traffic, and I love traffic. It's a weird thing to say, but I just love traffic. And there's cars everywhere on the official one. This race we didn't really fill out the split.
You're right, actually. It didn't. It was like, I remember that. There were only, I think, like 10 LMP2s, 10 LMP1s, and like 20 GTEs or something.
So from time to time, you actually were alone on the track, and that's, I just think it's more of a thrill to zigzag around cars, and it's a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, it's also a bad thing for the greedy motherfuckers. So you can actually gain some positions, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and also for those wondering who are listening / watching, the majors, it's a league that is in iRacing that, it's like a third-party league. It's not ran by iRacing, but it's like just a league that is really well known that does endurances throughout the year and like just random. It's not even like you do like Indy 500, like oval racing, road racing. It's just all over the place, isn't it?
I'm pretty new to majors, but what I fell for with majors was actually their endurance races last year, or half endurance races, because when the official races are going 24 hours, for example, Le Mans or Spa, they put out 2.4-hour race that you can actually solo. So that's kind of what made me interested in majors last year.
Okay, yeah. Something for me just about endurance racing. It's by far my favorite thing to do in iRacing. Like it's just I love them to death. Endurance racing.
Yeah. And also a team. There's nothing that beats a good team effort. Like if everyone just keeps the car on track, it's just there's so many risks by changing drivers, and there's so much that can go wrong, and also that will go wrong. But yeah, it's nothing beats a good team effort. Like that's the best feeling.
Absolutely. And just I feel like after doing an endurance race with somebody or like a group of guys or whatever, like it just I feel like builds so much like I don't know the word, like camaraderie or whatever, you know. Like I feel like you're friends for life or something. It's just so fun.
Yeah.
Really, really
exactly.
Cool.
So like when you do a couple of good stints, and you, for example, on a 24-hour race, you go to sleep or something, you come back and you see that the car is at least on the same position as you left it as.
Yeah.
Like that's
like a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
It really is. I cannot, like, getting to sleep is so difficult for me during those races because I'm constantly like, because I stream like the race even when I'm asleep. I have my stream on still, so I'll like be laying in bed and I'll pull up my stream and just like squint at my phone like in the middle of the night, like in the relatives. Like, is that the same position? It's like, oh yeah, it is. Okay, back to sleep. It's like
it's the same thing. Same here. I have a hard time sleeping when I need to sleep.
Oh, definitely.
And I actually got the bed right here, so it's really easy. I always stream the whole race as well, so it's really easy to just have a sneak peek over here.
Yeah.
And the sneak peek also turns into 30 minutes, and it also turns into even an hour.
Yeah, exactly. It's just hard to go to sleep.
Yeah, so
it's really brutal. I guess, brutal.
I guess that's a problem you can work with.
Definitely. I've been like during endurance races. I remember the first endurance I did. I couldn't sleep like at all, and it was like almost honestly like unhealthily how I couldn't sleep because I basically had I had like a double stint. So like whenever we do stints, like we've always done it this way. It's like 2 stints basically is like 1 stint.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you drive some more pit, and then change drivers. Well, I had like a stint, and then I was able to sleep for like 5 hours, and then I had like a triple stint when I woke up. Well, I couldn't sleep at all, so I had to do a triple stint on no sleep when I technically should have slept, and that was hell. And so I basically now I have melatonin. I don't know if you know what that is. It's just like a natural sleeping um like supplement. Um,
Oh, okay.
it's like healthy though.
Like it makes you fall asleep
Yeah,
naturally, or
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
because like our body, there's stuff in our body called melatonin, or our body produces. Um, I don't know what it is. How you'd say it, but like it's basically a chemical that our body produces when it's time for sleep, and then it makes you tired.
yeah,
But the what you can get in America is like melatonin pills, which basically is that exact same stuff, except it just is more of it. So like, it just lets you go to sleep really quick. So I've been taking those now, during endurance
yeah,
races, and it's been really nice because it's really natural too. So go to sleep, wake up,
yeah,
feel refreshed, bam, off to the races
yeah.
again.
Also, speaking about sleep and endurance races, is also very, very dangerous to go up from bed and jump right into the stint like super
Oh,
fast. Yeah, that's what
I
I did on my first one.
oh yeah, man,
And I was
that's
like, we also did 2 or 3 stints each, and
huh,
like the first stint, I can't remember. I can't even remember I saw the track. It was
huh.
just blurry.
Oh.
Eyes wasn't really awake.
Oh my
But yeah,
gosh. I
that's also a
always
part
think,
of the team effort. Like I like the night stints because like it's so calm, and there's like we have this rule that the driver should never be alone. And
mm,
it's just cozy. I like the feeling about 24 hours.
definitely, I
But
agree.
I only done 24 hours on Le Mans, so this weekend coming up is going to be something else.
Yeah, I
Something
agree
new.
with you. I think night stints are my favorite. I like, yeah, like it is like cozy. It's kind of weird to say like for people who haven't maybe done it, but night stints or whatever are just really, I like love the nighttime driving at night. Just I could do that
Yeah.
all day long, and so um
And I guess Le Mans is something special because
oh
it's not a 9 minute long track, so there's going to be traffic most of the time. I guess it's going to be a bit different this weekend.
yeah, instead now traffic will be passing you, which that's gonna, I can tell you from experience because I did Nürburgring last year in a Mazda.
Yeah.
Um, dude, the GT3 is passing you at nighttime on the windy like Nordschleife, and just be prepared. It's scary. It is.
I'm gonna try.
It
I'm
is
gonna
very
try.
terrifying. Like, just give them the space because they will screw you over.
The
Just
pace is actually really the pace is there's a huge gap in the pace between GT3 and GT4, I think. I got
uh
surprised when I
oh
noticed how fast the
yeah.
GT3 was compared to the GT4s.
Definitely, it's insane. The top speed of
Yeah,
GT3, it's like LMP to GTE almost.
yeah. I felt
Crazy.
like yeah, I was like, is there HPDs in this race or what's going on? I just got overtook by something.
Yeah, it really is huge, the gap. I think like the top speed difference is just insane. It's like crazy. Because I'm in a
Yeah.
league, a geodesic. It's a geodesic GoPro championship, and it's
Yeah.
GT3s and GT4s. I'm in GT3, but like passing all the GT4s, it really does feel like you're in an LMP. The speed difference is just absolutely mind-boggling.
And
Let
maybe
alone Mazdas.
that's maybe also why the faster drivers makes more mistakes. Like they think they're faster than the guys that they're lapping, but they're not as fast as they think.
Yeah, no, that's
So yeah,
yeah.
maybe faster car brings out the worst of us.
I definitely can see that. I think that yeah, and when you're in a faster car, it's like much more responsibility on you as a driver
Yeah,
to drive around safely because your car really could be a weapon. Like
that's what you say when you're not in the car, like we are. We're talking about the car, but when we're in the car,
your mind
it's gonna feel
changes.
like, yeah, it's gonna be like I am so much faster than this guy. He knows it. He sees me. He's gonna
Yeah,
let me go.
that's
He
yeah,
also got this blue flag that means he's gonna stay. He's gonna stop his car by the side of the road,
exactly.
jump
Just
out of
pull
the car,
over
and
to the
just wave
side,
us.
just
Yeah,
go wave
wave
us
us by.
by. Exactly. You think that they'll all bow down to you or whatever. When in reality, they could care
Yeah,
less about you.
and that's exactly what's going on in LMP1. I
That's
tell you,
exactly.
every LMP1 driver thinks that more or less.
Yeah, it's just, and yeah, you're right. Like I can talk as much as I want about LMP's dive bombing, but it's like the second I hop into an LMP one, it's like I feel like I do the same. No, it's just
Yeah,
I don't know,
and
man.
there's
It's crazy.
I don't know.
There's sorry, finish what you were saying.
I don't know how many people I've heard in voice chat like getting mad because someone got a blue flag and they didn't stop the car and
I know, man.
park
They
it by
expect
the
them
side of
just
the
to like
road.
they think that
Yeah,
they're not even racing or something. It's like, man, these
yeah,
people that are getting the blue flags, like they also are racing cars, you know? Like we can't just stop in the middle of the road and just let you
yeah.
by, you know? Um
So that's yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah, there's a few questions
Yeah.
that I guess to
Shoot.
kind of wind down the podcast. There's questions. So
Yeah,
I
that's what I'm
forgot to
thinking.
tell you about this, but towards the end of the podcast, viewers can ask questions, and I'll basically
Yeah,
ask
sure.
them, and you can answer them, kind of like a
That's a
Q&A style thing.
good thing to end the stream with, because yeah.
Awesome.
For you
So
guys that didn't know, I also have my streaming office in our master bedroom, and I don't live alone, so
yeah, no, yeah, you were
I
telling
got
me
some.
about this. So I was conscious of the time and how long we've
Yeah,
been running this.
no worries. Let's shoot for the questions, and that's gonna be a good end, I guess.
Awesome. So, question number one comes from Rotograph. He asks, which track and cars would you like to see in iRacing?
Ooh, tracks is a tough one. I like right now I can't remember any track that I like that isn't in iRacing. I'm sure there is one, but I just can't figure it out right now. Um, but yeah, I can't. I would like to say my home track, but that's not really a fun racing track. That's more a drifting track. But yeah, that's not one of the most fun tracks, I guess. I don't think I can't remember any track that I want to see in iRacing right now, but I'm sure there is one. Cars, I would love to see LMP2 get updated.
I
I would
agree.
love to see the today's LMP2.
That is the only
And
correct answer.
yeah, that, and also I like DTM, but I also think that adding a new class to iRacing would also separate more people, so there's going to be less people in the races. But yeah, DTM is also very cool, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree
Yeah.
100%. Also, remember, guys, for these questions to ask, if you go to the redemptions where you can redeem your channel points, that's where you can ask these questions that we're going through right now.
Okay.
And so I forgot to clarify that, but yeah.
I don't know if this is the answer for the track thing you said, but I'm doing a bit of everything. I'm doing off-road GT, like yeah, I'm doing a bit of everything, NASCAR and everything in iRacing.
Mhm.
I would love to see regular tracks with jumps on them with the trophy trucks. Like
Oh yes, yes.
yeah, because for example, Road America, they run Road America with the trophy trucks, but with jumps on them,
That'd be
and
sick.
that would be cool. And also, when I think about it, they do run uh, what's it called? Long Beach. Long Beach. That's not in iRacing, is it?
I think Long Beach actually is,
Is
but
that
it's
in
like not
iRacing?
finished. It's
Oh,
like a
okay.
track you can buy it for like $5, I think. Or
That's a
is that the
track
right
I would
track?
like to see, though.
I don't even know if that's the. Let me just
I do know
confirm.
they run that track in that series also with jumps, so maybe that answers both questions.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I know Circuit of the Americas does that too. They have a trophy
Long
truck.
Beach is a tech track, okay?
Yeah, it's really weird. You can race it, but like it's not finished. Like the background is just like gray and stuff. Like there's no scenery really or let me
Oh yeah.
actually show stream.
Oh, Hockenheim, as Fresh said. Yeah, Hockenheim is a really cool track as well. Brno is also a cool track. Is that the long one, by the way? Is that the super long one? Well,
I'm gonna post this in Discord. That's what Long Beach looks like. So it's like they started working on it, but they never actually finished it, but they yet
oh,
released it
cool.
still. So it's like,
Yeah,
here, let me see.
because there's a lot of series or different kind of racing going on that track.
Yeah, Long
There's
Beach. I'd love
trophy
for them to
trucks.
finish.
There's not IndyCar, I think, but there's some like open wheel series going on there.
At what?
Also GT at Long Beach.
No, IndyCar races at Long Beach.
No, it's not. But there is some. I don't know what series, but there is some open wheel series going on there as well.
Oh, in iRacing or something, or in real life?
No, in real life.
Pretty sure
You know when
IndyCar
they.
races.
Oh, they do. Maybe they do. Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe that's. Well, I'm not really into the IndyCar scene, but yeah, I know there's a lot of different classes and series going on there. So even the Formula Drift, even the official American drifting series is going on there.
Yeah, that'd be
That's
cool.
actually their first race of the seasons.
It'd be cool if they were able to finish Long Beach, but no, that's a great question. Fantastic question there. Okay, next question. From Justin Time 01 asks, "How did you discover iRacing?"
Ooh, we were kind of walking down that road
Yeah,
early
we
in
kind
this
of touched up
podcast.
on that a little bit.
Yeah, but yeah, how did I
Hear about
get to
it
know
or
about? Yeah, I think I heard about it from Freshcap in chat actually.
really?
It's a, yeah, it's a real life friend of mine.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. I think he was the guy giving me the 30 days trial. I think for a race we just did that one race, and I also felt like this we were talking about very early about what am I doing here with all these competitive people
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
better than me. So I kind of did that race and forgot about it. Or
Okay.
tried to, but yeah, I know Freshcap has been with PC for longer than I have, so he knew about it. I guess I had a time off from PC. I had a MacBook
Hmm.
for a
Back.
while. So yeah, I had a MacBook and an Xbox that kind of float my boat, and
Oh man.
yeah, I missed out on a lot of PC stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think the first like my experience with iRacing is that maybe I knew about it before, but I haven't really checked it out.
Hmm. Yeah, I got
So
you.
so yeah.
Yeah, great question, Justin. Absolutely. Lord Ramix asks, what would be the first and most needed change in iRacing in your opinion?
First of all, I would say same answer as what car I want to see, LMP2.
Hmm.
That's the first car or change. I don't know how you want to
Yeah, like update
categorize
kind of.
those two. Yeah. But if we're talking about update, oh yeah, the tire model today, I like it as long as you stay on the tarmac.
Oh yeah.
Going off track is like going in wet grass. And that I say from in real life experience,
Hmm.
you don't go that far off track. Just yeah, it's just ridiculous how slippery it is on the grass
It's insane.
right now. Yeah, with the new tire model.
Yeah, you get screwed
That's
over if you go on the grass. It's like 10 seconds just to get back to the track.
yeah, and in real life, especially like the sandboxes, the car kind of stops immediately, and that's also why people flip around very fast with their cars in sand.
Hmm.
But the speed actually goes down real quick in sandboxes. In grass is slippery, but it's not this slippery. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would like to see a change in that because
You,
that's mostly what ruins my races
do you
when
think
I
that
go
the
off track and
grass
I can't.
was do you think the grass was like the um was accurate on the previous tire model, or do you think it was like too like do you think they need to find like a middle ground now?
I haven't thought about how it felt before. As for then, I didn't feel it was too slippery, and I also didn't feel that it was too grippy.
Huh.
I actually didn't mind it until I felt this now in the new tire model,
Huh.
and now I can't go back and think. I don't remember how it was actually
You do you own
in
the
the
Indy
previous.
car?
Yeah, yeah.
So the Indy car is still on the old tire model. So like
Oh,
you could
good tip.
if you ever wanted to like see what the grass was like ever, you could just drive the Indy car and
Oh
drive it
yeah.
in. like the
Yeah,
grass or
sure.
something.
That's a good thing before they change that.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's different, definitely.
the day that they implement rain in iRacing, they could definitely have this grip on the grass. That's going to be accurate. But as for now, if it's dry, it's not going to be like this.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what most people have been saying. Is it seems like wet grass and the sand doesn't even slow you down like at all. It
Oh yeah.
glide across it.
I had a I had a race as late as today with the LMP1 where I got off track just a bit in the carousel
Oh,
at Road America, and yeah, there's no there's no stopping. There's no way you can stop the car on the grass and try to avoid the wall. You're gonna end up in the wall,
yeah,
unfortunately.
you're done. 100%
Yeah,
done. Nothing you can do about that. Um, so yeah, Remix, I guess just the LMP2 and the tire model to get the grass fixed, right? Is kind of your two
yeah.
biggest changes. All
I
right,
think LMP2 is definitely like
the
my
priority.
prior one. Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely would want that LMP2 and a DPI for IMSA, like a new updated DP.
yeah.
Are my two big things. Codebreaker asks, is there a special event you would like to have added to iRacing, like a special endurance or something, or not already there?
Um, Also, I'm not very explored or experienced when it comes to in real life racing, as my interest for racing is pretty new. So I don't really know I know like the main events when it comes to endurance races: Spa, Le Mans, Nürburgring. I don't really Sebring. I don't really know what else endurance races there is.
Same
I'm
here, to
trying
be
to follow.
honest.
Yeah, so I'm not really into that scene before, but since I started iRacing, I actually started to follow some real life series as well, like Blank Pawn,
Hmm.
uh, yeah, Le Mans, stuff like that. So this is where I start to learn racing. But yeah, I don't know. Is there even any other endurance races than
Uh,
those we have in our racing?
yeah, there's a lot
Abu
more.
Dhabi.
There's one in
Mm.
there's a Dubai, like a 24 hours of Dubai, I think, or something like that. There's also one I absolutely
Boulder.
love is Fiji. I'd love to see, or not Fiji. That's the water. That's gonna make fun of me. Fuji. I want to see Fuji added to iRacing, and then I want to see them do an endurance race at Fuji, because I think there's like a
Oh,
six
okay.
hours of Fuji, and that track is. Have you ever seen Fuji?
I've seen Fuji, but aren't they racing like Japan series mostly?
Yeah, that's like Super
Like
GT.
GT 500 or whatever it's called. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's like Super GT and actually I think they race WEC. Actually, someone probably can clear that up. I'm pretty sure that WEC goes to Fuji, but I could be completely mistaken.
Yeah, I know the track from other Sims or
Yeah,
games. Um, but yeah, I haven't. No, I'm not gonna say that I would love to see that endurance race because I didn't know about it. But now that you say it, yeah, I would like to see it, of course.
yeah. There's a few. I don't really like. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like when it comes to racing, I more just watch races in, or I'm more just into iRacing. Um, like I don't
What's
know a ton
this
about real life.
Willow Springs? Isn't that an American track they actually have a lot of endurance races on as well?
Yeah, that's it. You probably know that one from Project Cars. That was in Project Cars. Like a
Yeah,
desert track.
both from that and also uh, a lot of like journalists and stuff goes to that track, and also a lot of people that I follow in the drift scene are actually going there to like test their cars out before the season and stuff like that. It seems like a local track for most people,
Yeah, Willow Springs is
or at
like,
least easy to get onto and not like a hassle to actually get your car out on that track.
yeah, it's like a track day style, and it's in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere. Like it's just in a desert, pretty much. So
Yeah. But yeah, that's a cool track as well. It's a track I don't know really well, but it is a fun track or cool track.
Yeah, I like Willow Springs quite a bit. I think it's a
And looking at it now, when you watch the overview thingy helicopter picture, when I drive it, I promise you, there's twice as many corners as you show here.
yeah, I know, right? Like it seems like there's so many more corners than there is.
Yeah,
Like especially there's like a section like right here that seems like there's so many more corners. I feel like before you get to
yeah,
the front stretch,
exactly.
it's like an oval pretty much. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So I promise you that's twice as many corners today.
yeah, the inaccurate map.
Yeah. I
Oh
bet that's when
man,
they first built it.
yeah, absolutely. Um, I think that that's pretty much it though.
Yeah.
I hope you
I,
enjoyed podcast and just talking and hanging out and stuff.
I did, and I feel like I can fill another podcast with just chit chat.
Absolutely. And you can definitely come back on again in the future. It's not like once for and then that's it forever. You can definitely
Yeah,
come back on maybe later in the year or something and get some
definitely
more
down for that.
podcasting and stuff. It's been a pleasure. I really, really enjoyed our chat and hanging out, of course, with the chat from the live stream. Um, we covered a lot of really cool stuff: LMP driving, iRacing, your journey of taking a stock car basically and turning it into a drifting machine. Um, and yeah, thanks for the pictures as
Yeah.
well, so that it was easy to kind of show and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
Sort of thing.
there's so much pictures, so much to talk about that era. So it's
Yeah.
better to cut me off short because that's
Yeah, that's for
that's what I'm
another
most proud
episode.
of. I think.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, we could probably
that's.
dedicate a whole episode just to your
There's
drifting
a
and all
lot
that
of
stuff.
pics and stuff. It's always fun.
Absolutely. Um, well, yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. I want to say, of course, to everybody, if you're watching this live, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in. Whether you're a viewer of mine or you're part of Papa Beard's community or whatever it may be. Thank you for listening and watching. If you're listening on Spotify or SoundCloud, after this is been streamed and whatnot, I'd like to say thank you for listening. And if you're watching this, of course, on YouTube afterwards, I'd like to say thank you. Thanks for all the support. It's been absolutely incredible. Once again, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Papa Beard. Really, I'm not gonna pronounce your
Problems.
name
Thank you.
again because I was like considering calling you by your
Just
name,
say
and I'm just not gonna deal with that.
just keep it a Big Papa Beard.
Big Papa Beard,
Or
yeah, that's what I
BPB.
figured. Exactly.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, that's gonna be it, guys. Thank you everybody so much for watching and listening, and I will see all of you guys later. Do you have any closing? Anything closing?
No, just thank you and your community, your idea of the podcast. I know I was here when you actually was talking about the idea, just even to start a podcast. And I'm glad you went through with it, and it's a really cool idea.
Oh,
Keep
thank
up
you.
what you're doing.
I appreciate it, and keep up with everything you've been doing as well. You're a fantastic content creator and stuff, so that's always awesome.
Same, same.
Alrighty, we'll see all of you guys later. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.